Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today we're going to try to fix this Casio watch. Now this was sent over from Thailand. The guy's name is David, and he has tried to get this repaired, but nobody's interested in repairing it apparently. So it was just sat in the drawer. He understands that there's a good chance I'm going to end up breaking it, but he's willing to take the risk. Now it's not really worth anything, it's just purely sentimental value. Now it's an old watch, it's a good 20 to 25 years old, and he says that he's changed the battery every 5 years and it's worked perfectly all that time, but now what happens is it just starts ticking for a bit, then stopping. Now I've tried putting a battery in it, and yes, you can see the hand is sometimes twitching a bit. So chances are it could just be a bit gummed up, but this is a quartz watch, and I've had a look at the inside. It is a cheaply made watch. It doesn't take away any sentimental value from it, but it's not an expensive timepiece. Well, it's relative, isn't it? What's expensive to one person is not expensive to another, and it might have been expensive when it was new, but the inside of it certainly isn't expensive, and it's got no jewels in it. So now I'm thinking cleaning it may get it going again, but let's think about it a minute. It's got no jewels in it, so there's a good chance after 20 to 25 years that the components on the inside have just worn. If it's been doing that for 20 to 25 years, let's just say there could be just a tiny little bit of play. We're talking like, you know, hundredths of a millimetre of play, and let's say if there's another little bit of play in the component next to it, and then between them it might be enough just to buckle, because you don't need much resistance to stop a watch at all. So rather than get involved in that, I have actually just bought a replacement movement because it is so cheap. Check this out. It's Miyota, I think that's how you pronounce it, apologies if not, 2035, I think that's the movement. There's no number on this, I'm only going purely by the picture. And it cost me £2 plus £1.75 postage. So for £3.75, it really is not worth getting involved in dismantling it and trying to work out what the problem is and cleaning each part. I don't even know if you oil no dual parts. Do they originally have oiling from the factory? Or are they just placed between metal and metal and plastic? Do they put a drop of oil in when these are made? I really don't know. But for that sort of money, I think it's well worth just changing it out, and then you've basically eliminated all the stress. Now I know that's not going to make for an interesting video because I haven't pinpointed what the problem is, but I think that if you were a professional doing this, you would be doing exactly the same. So I'm going to get my gloves on, I'm going to take this apart, and let's try and swap it over. Hopefully, I'm hoping I will be able to do this. Now obviously I wouldn't take this on if I didn't think I could do it, but obviously, like with anything, there's a good chance that I will muck something up. But the reason I'm doing it is because I really do believe that I can take the hands off and put them back on again and swap the movement over. But I know I've said this in other videos, please don't contact me to fix your stuff. I've been, you know, I get messages about I really want this repaired, blah 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 blah, you know, sentimental value, this, that and the other. But the thing is, they're on things that I've never done before. So for example, now if I worked all day long with quartz watches, then I would obviously be more keen on fixing other people's. It's not that I'm being mean, it's just that if somebody offers me, for example, like a grandfather clock that's got massive sentimental value, then I'm not going to risk fixing that when I've never done one before in my life. I would happily buy one from eBay and try to fix it because the risk is all on me. And I don't care if I break something. That's the risk I'm willing to take. But for other people, it's got sentimental value. And even when a lot of people say that, no, it doesn't matter, I understand you might break it, do they really understand that I might break it? They might think I've made a silly mistake. I don't intentionally make silly mistakes, but I often do make silly mistakes. So please don't contact me on eBay or Facebook and message in YouTube and stuff, because I don't advertise that I fix people's things for that exact reason. A lot of the time I end up not fixing things, and it's an added pressure for me. Even now I feel added pressure. If I bought this off eBay for £10 and broke it, spending £4 on that, can't remember how much it was, £3.75, then really that's not a lot of risk to me, is it? But when it means something to somebody else, then there's a lot more risk. But as I say, I am confident that I can fix this. And David knows full well that if it breaks, it breaks. I'll just leave it here as spares. I won't even send it back to him. So, yeah, but obviously, you know, don't be contacting me, because it's not something I do for the exact reason that I'm not a professional doing this. And a lot of the time, if you do watch my videos, you see how often I do make mistakes. Now, I'm going to try to take this bracelet apart because Just take it apart from here, just to make it easier to work on. Oh, that's there. Now he had to take the battery out to send it, apparently. Let's just, the back's already loose. There we go. So that's where I got my image from here and here, but I haven't actually got a number on here to go by. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom right in now, and let's see how easy or hard this is. Okay, so here it is. So now what I first have to do is I have to release the crown. Now everything does appear to be moving okay. So if I turn it over there and turn it over, you can see that things are moving. Yeah? So actually, to make it easier for myself, I might as well put them all at the same level, so then when I come to take the hands off, there we go. So what I want to do is I want to take out this crown, so I'm going to just slide it, click it out to you know, the position. Now often there's a little button or something that you press, but I see on this one, basically when I press in just next to it here, it makes like a little sort of clicking noise just next to it. Just here I think it is, so I'm just going to press in there, just below that one. And, hold on. No? There. Okay, and that's released it just in there. So just press down there. Right, now I have got a new stem in the pack, but I'm hopefully going to reuse the old one, and then I won't have to worry about cutting it down to size and trying to fix this on. So I want to make life as easy as possible for myself. Now let's take this bit out here. Oh, the whole lot's come out, hold on. There. Right, now I don't know how to actually take, I don't know how to take the movement away from the thing. I wonder whether there's some screws that undo it. Well, I suppose first things first, let's take the hands off. So let's take this out. And let's try to remove the hands. Now I did buy some hand removal stuff, so I'm going to see if I can find where I put them. Here they are. I haven't used these before. They don't look particularly sharp. I don't know whether that's going to get under there or not. And I'm just using a little bag to try and give the dial a bit of protection. Do you know what? I'm not happy with them. I don't really think they're sharp enough. And I thought they were the smallest ones that I got as well. Let's go back to my old technique. That's better. Yeah, okay, I just prefer that. I know I don't think it's made for it, but it seems to do the job. Right, so hour hands on first, then the minute hand, then the second hand. And I know which way to put them back on because one side's shiny and one side's ever so slightly dull. Well, I just want to see how this is attached. Right, so I think it's just friction. There's a little dial feet there and there. Can you see those little posts? And they must go into the holes here, and I presume, I'm not sure where it lines up. Yeah, well, I'm hoping now the new movement does fit into this. Right, so let's get this new movement out. It also comes with the little stem like I mentioned, but I'm going to just leave that for the time being. Hopefully I won't need that. I'm hoping this movement is the same. Let's zoom out for this bit. Let's just do a very quick comparison. Yeah, that looks the same to me. I mean, I'm hoping the spindles and stuff in the middle, I'm hoping they're all the same. Right, so the stem goes in that side, which is going to be the same as this side over here. So we're going to put it this way round. Excellent, look at that. Just slots straight in. That's nice and easy. Right, I suppose I should, let's take this battery out, and I'm thinking I should probably clean the dial now with a bit of Rodico before I put the hands on it. Right, for someone like myself, Rodico is just like the magic stuff, because I use this a lot of the time as a kind of set of tweezers. So when I take out screws and stuff, I use this to basically to grab them. Because without this, with me, because I haven't got great control over this, because I'm not a watch repairer and I've got very little experience on it, it makes it much easier for me. And it's dirt cheap as well. It's only, I think, a few pounds, and it will last for ages. You get a whole big lump. It basically looks like blue tack. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rub this around the place. Actually, do you know what? While I'm doing this, I might as well drop this into the ultrasonic cleaner to give it a clean, because you can see it's got many years of dirt and grime on it. Now with this here, David wasn't sure. He knew it wasn't plastic, but he wasn't sure if it was sapphire or mineral glass. Now a way I think you can tell is by just putting a dot of water on it, and when you move it around the place, if it keeps the bead, it will be sapphire, which I'll show you on this watch here. This is Omega Speedmaster, but this is a slightly different Speedmaster, and this actually has sapphire glass on it. This is from 1994, and with this, when I put a drop of water on, you will see it will keep its bead when I move it around the place, but on this one it will leave a trail behind it, because I tried it earlier. So I think that this is mineral. Let me get a bit of water. So I've got some water now. Now this does help if your watch is really, really clean. So let me just give it a quick wipe, and I'll wipe this as well. Right, now watch the difference. So with this here, and I know this to be sapphire, right, can you see I've got a drop of water on there? Now watch, when I move it around, can you see it's still a drop of water? Yeah, there you go. Can you see it hasn't really left a trail behind it? Move it down a bit more. Move it down, move it down, move it down. Now look, can you see it's still a nice, there you go, that's perfect. You see it's still a nice bead. That basically means it's sapphire. Now I don't know if this is going to work in every single instance. There you can see it left behind a bit, but not much. Come on, move over, move over, move over. There you go. Yeah. So you can see it's leaving hardly any trail, if anything, just a couple of little dots. Now watch this one. So put a dot there. And now when I move it around, watch, there you go. Can you see it's leaving a trail there? I mean, that's a perfect there. So I can say with near enough confidence that this is going to be mineral, or I mean, it might be some kind of like Seiko Hardlex or something like that. But in my opinion, this isn't going to be sapphire. And you can see with this one that that is going to be sapphire. So that's just a nice little test. Right, so let's drop this into the ultrasonic cleaner. Let me just show you that. Right, I'm still waiting for it to get up to temperature. I'm going to put it on at 50 degrees Celsius, and I'm going to put it on for 30 minutes. And when you start it, you can hear the noise it makes. And what I've added to it is deionized water, this stuff here, and also this here, ultrasonic cleaner, dirt busters. There you go, so jewellery and watches. So I'm just going to wait for that to get up to temperature, and then we'll put it on for 30 minutes. Right, let's clean up this a little bit. Now, just in case you haven't seen my videos before, obviously I'm not a watch repairer, so there's going to be plenty of mistakes and stuff like that. But the way I look at it is, not a lot of watch repairers would bother doing this. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's probably not worth their time, hence the reason why David had trouble getting anybody to look at it. But for me, it is worth it, because I can make a YouTube video out of it, And there's probably a lot of people out there that would happily have their watch, even if they paid, you know, just £100 for it. They're not going to pay £100 to a repairer to fix it, but they would happily pay £3.75. Yes, you're going to need some tools, so I appreciate that. But you get these cheap watchmaking kits from China for like £15 or £20. I paid £30 for mine, but that was years ago. So then if you want to do a few watches, then it's a kind of easy way to get, you know, to get into it. And it doesn't mean you're going to be taking apart Rolex watches and stuff like that. But stuff like this, you might well be able to do yourself. And even if you do break it, really, what have you lost? Because you're not going to pay for a repairer to do it, and or you might not find one that wants to do it, and it's just sat in the drawer anyway. So there's not really much risk, I don't think. I think the risk reward is definitely worth it in this instance. Now you can see, let's say up here by the 11, can you see there's quite a lot of grime around there? Now look. I'm just kind of rolling this around the place. I don't know whether you should be replacing it every now and then, but it seems to be still doing its thing. That might do. See, there's quite a few scratches on the actual glass itself, so or the crystal. So I don't think you're going to see any tiny imperfections when it's back together. Do you know what? That's come up really nice, isn't it? I think I'm going to leave it at that. Now let's try to get these hands back on. So we're going to start with the hour hand. Right, you can see one side's dull and one side's shiny. So really at this moment in time, and I suppose I do need to make it all go up to the top, point up to the top. And now I need to push these down. Well, I have got little pushers for when I replaced my wife's targ movement. So these have little holes at different amounts on either side. Can you see? So for the hour hand now, I'm probably going to use something like, I'm going to try and maybe use this one here, but even that might not be right. If not, I could always just use this, you see, and just push it down ever so slightly. No, so I don't think this is big enough. There we go. Okay, so I'll just use my tweezers. I'm just going to have a look through the eye loop just to see how it looks. I'm just using one of these. Okay, well that looks to be fully on. I am just going to pop the crown back in, see if it's moving round smoothly. Excellent, that fits. Right, I think that's okay, and there does seem to be a bit of clearance there, so I'm hoping that's going to be alright. I hope it's not pushed down too far. So I'm just going to clean up the hand a little bit. Right, now let's pop on the minute hand. Again, I'm going to have a look through the eye loop. Right, that looks ever so slightly bent, so I'm just going to try and lift it up a little bit. Let's move it around. Yeah, that appears to have a nice bit of clearance between it. Let me just try it at different positions. Right, and that looks like it's lining up quite nicely, doesn't it? Right, that's that. And now I'm going to put on the second hand. Now, I don't know if there's a technique for doing a second hand, because with a quartz, I like it when it's perfect. In other words, I like it when it lands exactly on them. But looking at different quartz, even expensive ones, they just seem to be really hit and miss. So I'm not sure if there's like a proper way of putting on the second hand or not. On this one, I suppose it doesn't matter so much because the indices, if that's the word, I don't know, are quite big. The battens are quite big. The second hand's quite small, and also there's no ones in between. So I suppose your eye's not going to be drawn to it as much. Well, I'm just going to have a look through the eye loop again. Well, as far as I can see, there's nice clearance between them all. Let's see if I can get it to focus. There you go. So I'm hoping that they're all on. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to clean up the hands again. And then we just have to wait for the ultrasonic cleaner to do its thing. I suppose I could pop the battery back in, see if it is actually turning. Right, let's pop the battery back in, see if it's doing what it needs to do. Yeah, oh look, it's got the hack mechanism, look. When you pull it out, it stops. Oh wow, that's pretty good. Pretty impressive, isn't it? Right, let's set it to the exact time. So, what is it? 5 to 3. 1 second, let me just get it so it's at the top. Yeah, can you see now that that second hand is slightly past it? So it was either slightly before it or slightly past it. Yeah. Should I try and take it off again, or am I going to be asking for trouble? Anyway, let's put it dead to 5.2 there. Let me let it do a full revolution round, and let's see where it ends up. Yeah, so with this old one here, who knows, I think it's just through many years of wear. I mean, it's amazing that it's lasted so long, but if you have a look, it does definitely say no jewels. Can you see there? Unadjusted, no jewels up here. Yeah, can you see that? Just before and just after. So that annoys me a little bit. So just before and just after, so it needs to be pushed back a bit. Now what I don't know is, do you have to lift it to push it back? Or can you just actually push it back? There you go, right. Now, you see, ideally I would want that back a bit, but I'm pretty sure if I just push that back, it's not going to make any difference. Let's see. See, it's just, did you see, it's just kind of clicked. It just kind of ticked round to the one before. So that would need lifting and then putting back on again, which I'm apprehensive about doing because I might end up breaking it. Let's see if I can just do it just on the second hand. So even now I've moved it, haven't I? So by moving it, there. By me moving it, I'm going to have the same problem when I put it back on again. I'm not going to know exactly where to do it, because by me taking it off, I'm going to be moving it. Right, so that's just that one off. Let's give it one more go, but I'm not going to do it again after that because I could imagine damaging it if I keep trying to do it. It's like it wants to go everywhere but where I want it. Ah. Right, okay, so that's where I need it to be. There. Actually, I can use a pusher for this, can't I? I'm just going to check that. Right, here goes. Let's see what it's going to do. Come on now. Yes, okay, it's not perfect. Can you see it's ever so slightly past, but not to the extent it was before. Watch. There, can you see? Actually, it's quite a bit out again. Oh well, I'm going to leave it because I've got a feeling every time you do it, I think it's just going to be pot luck. But if you know a way to do it, then if you could put it down in the comments. Maybe I'm just not lining it up well enough. But I thought, to me, when I put it down, I thought I put it down better than what it is now. But look, it's better this time than it was before. But I could do it again and I could make it end up out again. There you go, you see? So that's almost perfect. So I'm going to leave it like that. So now all we have to do is wait for the, just put this forward a bit. We're going to have to just wait for the ultrasonic cleaner to do its thing. And then we can pop this back in. Right, we'll come back to this in a little bit. Actually, I forgot to put the case back in, so I'm just going to take off the little gasket and I'm going to put the case back into the ultrasonic cleaner just so it can have 10 or 15 minutes clean. Right, so we've got 5 minutes to go now until the ultrasonic cleaner's done. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to keep that old movement because, for example, the coil itself is probably perfect and the little crystal will come in useful, not just for other watches, but for little, video game handheld consoles and stuff like that. So often you'll find crystals in many different things. So that hasn't gone to waste whatsoever. And I know it is a shame not to repair this one itself, but some things are really not made to be repaired. Now, if it was a faulty quartz crystal or a faulty coil, then yes, chances are it would still be cheaper just to buy the whole movement than buy the coil separately. But you see, yes, if it was a faulty crystal, then I could have just got one because I do have a pack of them already. I bought them after fixing that little Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles handheld game. And then I would be confident that is a repair. But when it's just due to wear, it was definitely trying to tick. So if it's trying to tick, the quartz crystal itself is okay. So I honestly think I have done the best option in this instance here to replace rather than try to repair. So what I've done is I've just cleaned up the gasket here. I don't know whether the watch will be waterproof. It looks quite the case and stuff looks quite pitted and stuff, so maybe it hasn't been waterproof in many years. This appears to still be keeping time, which is good. What's interesting is the second hand seems to have gone back to before and after again. So when you look closely, I'll show you at the end, but it seems to be going just before and just after, exactly the same as it was at the beginning. So I don't know whether it's a thing in the quartz itself. I mean, I'm sure it can't be. I'm sure it's the placement of the second hand. But that seemed, even though I took it off and put it back, can you see? It's still not dead on. It seems to have gone out again, which is really weird. Whether it will go back in again or not, I don't know, in another 5 minutes or so. Not too sure. There we go. So, obviously it's well worn, but definitely looks cleaner. If you look in the bottom there, you can see all the dirt that's come out of it. So it really has made a big difference. Right, let's get this back together. That's out of the ultrasonic cleaner, and then what I did is I just rinsed it in some water, and then I dried it with kitchen towel, and then I put the hairdryer all over it. Now obviously there's still a load of plating that's missing, but that looks so much cleaner now. There's still a few bits of grime in the actual, deep inside those bits, but David can clean that himself. But I think that's come out really good, really good. Right, let's pop the insides back in. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to grease that O-ring ever so slightly. Actually, I should do that at the end, because otherwise I'm going to get grease on my movement here. Right, okay. So that appears to be keeping time, which is good. So I now have to remove this crown again. I can't get this one out. Right, let's get it in the movement holder. Right, now I'm going to try again. Okay, with this one it had to be pushed fully in to take it out, so I had it out so the hack mechanism was kicked in, but it wouldn't come. But when I pushed it back in and then pressed it, it came straight out. Right, so now what I'm going to do is give it one final clean. Well, even if there is a tiny bit of, I mean, it looks perfect, but even if there was like a tiny little bit in there, there was a lot less than there was before, so it's still a bonus. Okay, so we're going to have to drop it in now with the crown that side. Oops. Forgot to clean up this little plastic thing, so I'll just give that a quick wipe now. Right, so let's place this in. Now let's put the crown in. Right, okay. It really highlights how scratched the glass is now when when everything else is clean. Right, let's put the back on, and then we can see how it adjusts and stuff like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of grease around this gasket. So I've just got a bit on my finger here. So that's there. Let's make sure we put it on the right way. So that's the top. Oh, it's got a little indentation where the stem goes through. There we go. That is a nice confirmation click. Now if you're interested in which one it is, it's an MTP 1164. There you go. Right, let's just pop this back in and we are finished. Okay, well, do you know what? I don't think that could have gone any more smoothly. So, really happy with how that went. Now, I wonder if there's a way to replate this that doesn't cost a fortune. I wonder if there's a kind of cheap kit that you can buy that you can apply gold plating again. If you know, add it down to the comments because it'd be quite interesting. Not that it really makes a difference, but I have got some, you know, those CASIO ones that I did, the plating's removed on them, so it'd be nice if you could put something on it, because I have seen gold plating done in the past. They like rub something on it and then touch it with something or other, and it just like hardens with gold. It looks quite nice, looks quite therapeutic the way it's done. So I wonder if there's like a sort of cheap kit that you can buy from China that would do a similar thing. Yeah, so there it is. That is it, ticking away. Now you can see the glass is really scratched up. I'm not even going to attempt to clean that. I could get the diamond paste on it, but it would take me a long time. I suppose it would probably be just easier just to replace it. I haven't got a replacement glass for it. But there, that seems to be ticking along nicely, and let's just make sure that this is all moving all the way around. Yeah, it all seems to be nice and smooth. Fantastic. So that is it for this video. Hopefully David will be pleased with that. I need to just keep it now for a couple of days, make sure it is keeping okay time, and then I'll post it back to Thailand. And you never know, he might be able to get another 20 years out of it. And now that he's seen this video, he might be quite confident in replacing it himself by buying some basic tools. And then if it goes again, really this bracelet should last. I mean, it looks like it's a well-made bracelet. That should last forever. It's just going to be the inside that needs changing. So yeah, that is it. So I quite enjoyed doing that. I found it quite, it's kind of nice, and I didn't find it too hard. It wasn't too stressful for me, and that's the good thing about quartz movement, especially when you're just changing out the inside. And it can be on more expensive watches as well. I got a Tag watch, which I got from an outlet for about £400, but at the time it was £800 in the shops. The equivalent watches now are like £1,200 to £1,500, and they do just have an ETA or an ETA movement, which you can buy from eBay between £20 and £30. And again, you see how it's slightly harder because you have to undo a couple of screws because it isn't like a friction fit. When it comes to the dial feet, there's a couple of screws that you have to undo. But again, it's an easy job to do yourself, and there's no point, in my opinion, of taking it back to Tag to pay £700 to get a £30 movement replaced. I really think it's worth taking the risk yourself, in my opinion anyway. I know it's not pressure testing and stuff, but you can even buy a pressure testing kit for, I think, £100 odd, and that's still cheaper than taking it to back to the manufacturer to get it fixed. But in this instance, that wasn't an option anyway, because apparently CASIO was not interested in repairing it. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more trying to fix videos. Take care. Bye now.